you know, you hear over the radio, we're taking fire, we're under fire.
We're under fire.
And you hear the pleading in their voices.
You can hear it.
That they need help bad.
I actually dropped to a knee, and then I got like, why the hell did I do that? And that's when the rocket hit.
Roan had a machine gun, and he started laying down hay.
I rolled him over. There was no response. I ripped off his body armor, took a pulse, couldn't feel nothing.
When you realize they're dead, what do you do?
I just kind of said a prayer over both of them.
I grew up out on the farm, rode horses as much as I could, and worked with cattle. My mom had a book that asked what your career would be or what you wanted to grow up to be, and mine was always either a police officer, a firefighter, or a soldier. It was December of 1983 when I actually signed up. I wanted to be in the infantry because that's where you get to do all the fun stuff. When I got out of the military, I started working as a police officer, and then after that I picked up a job as chief of police in a small town, and then moved on to contracting after that. Well, I got to Benghazi, and I was going to be there for 60 days. That was my first time into Libya.
I remember walking through our university, and there was an Army recruiter, and he picked me out of a crowd, and he said, hey, what are you going to do after college? He showed me a Ranger video, and I asked him, hey, that looks pretty tough, is it hard? And he said, man, you gotta be pretty tough to get in it. That's what I want to do. If a lot of people can't do it, I want to do that. In 2003, I was medically discharged, and out of the blue, I got a call from Blackwater. They were just starting, saying, hey, we're looking for contractors to go to Iraq. I said yes. I got the call to go Libya was early 2012.
Can he help you? 3rd grade. That's when we lived across the street from the recruiting station. I mean, it just kind of kept going there. I chose the Marine Corps because I always hear they're always the toughest guys, so I tried out for the toughest one I could find. Got out actually about 2 months before I got totally bored. I had to go find work. I ended up getting a job in heating and air conditioning. I did that until I got into contracting. The first time that I actually went there to Libya, I went into Tripoli. That was my first trip. And the second time I went back, and the third time, the fourth time, they're all in Benghazi.
This attack lasted 13 hours. 4 people died, including our ambassador, and it was on 9/11. So I want you to take us back to the beginning. For people who don't know this job, you know, contractors, I mean, how do you explain it to them?
Private security contractors. And for us, it was protection. It was protecting CIA case officers overseas, doing low-profile protection.
How did the hierarchy work here?
Well, you have the chief of base. He's the main guy who's in charge, and then you have our...
Now, that was Bob?
Yes. And then you have the team lead, which would be in charge of us.
You know, our team leader is a staffer. He's an employee for the agency, and then all us contractors are like, if you talk it military-wise, we're like the enlisted folks.
Other members of your team are not here. Obviously, Tyrone Woods, who you called Roan. There are 2 other members who remain anonymous, right?
Yes, correct.
Jack and DB.
Correct, yes.
So you were set up to protect the annex, which was the CIA.
The personnel at the annex, yes.
This gives us a perspective of the other facility there, which was what you guys call the consulate. Where are we here?
Here's the consulate, and then here's us. Here's our compound.
So, pretty close. About
3/4 of a mile as a crow flies, about I'd say mile drive, if
Maybe.
maybe a mile, if you did the whole thing.
So this site, was it well protected?
Ooh, who wants to take that one?
No, it looked nice. It was a beautiful compound. I mean, it had orchards.
It was
Had a
beautiful.
really nice
Swimming pool. Had a nice
house. Had a swimming
nice
pool.
swimming pool.
They had their own security.
They were their own security.
They were their own, yeah.
Diplomatic security.
The
Diplomatic security. They didn't
yes.
have they didn't have like an American force, like a Marine detachment. They did it themselves.
So what'd you tell them?
And me and my bluntness, I said, if you guys get attacked, you guys are going to die. You know that, right? And I remember I said, if you ever need us, you just call us. We'll come get you.
What's your reaction when you hear the ambassadors coming to Benghazi on September 10th, September 11th, of all days?
And you were like thinking, there's only 5 guys to protect him, and that's a
Pretty routine day.
Normal day, just doing normal task stuff, task organization stuff.
You had to move late, I guess it was late in the afternoon, or
Late afternoon, early evening. Went out to meet some people for dinner. Normal night. Town looked normal. There was nothing that looked any different than any other day.
and there was no whisper that this video was a major problem in Benghazi or something?
Didn't know about video till I got to Germany. No idea about any video. No. No, sir. Our team leader, he actually came across the radio, and I remember I looked at my watch, and it was 9:32 when I first got the call on the radio that said, hey, we need all GRS.
GRS? What is
Yes.
that? GRS operators.
global response staff.
Global response staff. Yep. And I remember I looked at DB and said, hey, something's going on. We're going to do something tonight. Just grabbed my stuff, threw my shoes on, and started moving to our team room.
Where were you?
Myself and Jack were in Building D. I was just getting undressed, getting ready to go to bed.
I meet the TL about halfway, about right there, and I said, hey, man, what's happening? And he goes, a constant center attack. You can start hearing the fire, the actual concentration of fire and some explosions.
It was a relatively quiet night in Benghazi, and by 9 o'clock, the 7 Americans in the compound are settling down for the night. You've got the ambassador in his room writing in his diary. You've got Sean Smith, the communications expert, online talking with a friend. And you've got 5 diplomatic security agents. Somewhere around 30 or 40 minutes later, men stream onto the compound, bearing AK-47s, chanting in Arabic, shooting off their guns. Almost instantly, they've overrun the compound. The 17 February militiamen who were supposed to be guarding the compound, but they just flee.
Now, you're ready to go.
5 minutes, we're ready. Thumbs up, we're ready to go.
Then what happens?
I went up to the TL, and I said, hey, we're ready to go. And Bob looks right through me and looks at the team leader and goes, you guys need to wait. He's on the phone talking to somebody. I assumed that they were trying to coordinate us to link up with 17 February.
Which is the local
Which is a
militia.
local militia.
It had probably been 15 minutes, I think, and I got out of the car, and Bob and the team lead were standing on the front porch, and I just said, hey, we need to get over there. We're losing the initiative, and Bob just looked straight at me and said, stand down, you need to wait.
We're starting to get calls from the State Department, guys, saying, hey, we're taking fire. We need you guys here. We need help.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the cars.
On the radio, what the hell's going on? Why are we waiting?
Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith are forced to take refuge in a specially protected area, the safe haven inside the villa. With them is Scott Wickland, a security agent charged with protecting the ambassador. They hide behind a locked gate. Wickland waits in the shadows with a rifle, ready to shoot anyone who tries to enter. The attackers can't get in, but use nearby diesel fuel to set the villa on fire. From beginning to when you're ready to go, thumbs up, you're ready to go out, to the time when you actually pull out, what's that time frame?
That's close to 25 minutes. I went up to Bob. I said, hey, we need to go. And got the wait again. And I got in the car, I told the TL, get in the back seat. And looked at Roan. He gave me a thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up. And we left.
And you guys did that pretty much on your own.
Yes, we did. We were never given the okay to go. We got the final straw for us to go, at least that's my opinion, and how I felt, was where one of the DS agents said, hey, they're starting to light the buildings on fire. You guys need to get here.
They used the word stand down. A number of people now, including the House Intelligence Committee, they insist no one was hindered from responding to the situation at the compound. The committee's wording was, quote, there was no stand-down order given to American personnel attempting to offer assistance that evening. So what do you say to that?
No, it happened.
It happened on the ground. All I can talk about is what happened on the ground that night.
To you?
To us. To myself twice, and to Tig once. It happened that night. That happened. We were told to wait stand down. We were delayed 3 times.
You asked for support.
After I was leaving, I said, well, get us an ISR, which is a UAV, a drone, and get us a Spectre gunship.
So the drone would have given you eyes
on.
above.
Yep, giving us
and the
advantage.
AC-130.
Support, protection, and
Firepower.
Exactly. I still remember it. It gives me kind of chills. It says, they're lighting the buildings on fire. If you guys do not get here, we're going to die.
Scott Wickland leads Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith to a spot in the bathroom inside the safe haven. The window there is barred, and acrid smoke billows into the area. He hopes to get them to a nearby bedroom, which has a window that can be opened from the inside. He says, follow me, and crawls toward that spot. It's dark and smoky, but he makes it to the window. He opens it and drops out. Only then does he realize Stevens and Smith haven't followed. He goes back in several times, but can't find them. Finally, exhausted and choking, he climbs to the roof and radios Alec Henderson and Dave Ubben, 2 security agents elsewhere inside the compound. His message? The ambassador and Sean Smith are missing. Now, Tig, you and Jack and Roan are going the front gate.
Yes.
And it's open?
When I was standing right here, and Land Cruiser came from this direction, I thought it was like bad guys stealing the Land Cruiser, so I drew down my weapon. Then I saw it was DS guys were actually driving it, and that's when I heard, hey, you know, we can't find the ambassador. So I started moving towards the front porch, getting up on the front porch, and that's when they're pulling Sean's body out of the window.
Sean Smith.
Sean Smith.
But the ambassador's still lost.
The ambassador's still lost.
Yeah.
Tig, you and Tyrone Woods, Roan, go into the building one of many times, but go in, and there's a moment there.
He was saying, hey, I can't find my way out. I could just say, come to my voice, but he almost made another right into where I think it was a dining room, and it was just totally engulfed in flames. I reached out, grabbed him, and said, this way, and we just went out and coughed up a couple lungs.
Now, Tonto, you're back here with DB.
Yes, where I looked at one of the Libyan guards in the back. He goes, Mister, come open the gate. So I came back, I opened the gate, I looked at the commander. I said, when you come through this gate, you close it and you lock it. And I moved forward, and you know, as we find later, that he didn't do that. And we paid for it. We paid for it down the road.
You've been there for a while now, and you can't find the ambassador. You've been in multiple times. Yep. Then you hear gunfire from outside the compound. And then rocket-propelled grenade.
All of a sudden, a big explosion. Bam. Just huge.
Where's it hit?
It was over in this area. So it's basically on the other side of where we are all trying to mass and collect and get out. And another explosion goes off, and it's coming from the gate that
was left
open. And I just started returning fire.
I was inside the safe haven. That's when I heard the explosion and the gunfire started cracking off.
And what'd you do?
I moved from here over to here, crouched all the way down. It was the same time a guy with an RPG moved into the view of the gate, and that's what he was coming up here shooting, and he'd run away, come up here, shoot, run away. And just as he was shooting, I shot him.
You shot him, he went down.
And then it was just weird. It's like a light switch. Everything stopped.
So you guys finally get together. You, give up the search for the ambassador?
The team leader, you know, he made the call, and we'd done everything that, I mean, Tig had been in that house, Jack had been in the house so many times. The State Department guys had now left the compound. They were gone. They were on their way back to ours.
Roan tells him, and